Good morning. I want us to discuss the roles of supply chain in international trade. Um, and some of the things we are going to look at are the components of the supply chain management. That is what makes the supply chain management. Um, it is said that the supply chain management is made up of a few components that are very important, as well as critical to the system. So we want to analyze each of them. And the first one, which we'll start with, is the planning. Now, in supply chain management, planning becomes the key component when you want to organize how the goods are going to move from one point to another. So planning becomes a key element. So it is said that is one of the most important stages. And before anything starts, it is normally very important to finalize the strategies and put them into place. Um, Checking the demand for the product or the service, you check the viability, the costing, profit, and also the manpower required. Now, without a proper plan or a strategy in place, um, it is normally going to be very, very impossible for a business to achieve effective and long-term benefits. So it is vital. Um, it is therefore very vital that um, enough time has to be devoted to this particular phase. That is the planning phase. You have to give it enough time. Um, so only after the finalization of the plans and the considerations of all the pros and the cons um, can one proceed further. So every business institution needs a plan or a blueprint, what they call it in other terms, or a roadmap based on which of the strategies are being made. So planning will help to identify the demands and also the supply trends in that particular market. So it is important that you must place it into, you must put it into your steps. And this in turn helps to create a successful supply chain management system. So planning is very, very vital whenever we want to have a successful supply chain management. We must ensure everything is organized in a proper way. Then the second component is about information. In the information, we know that the world today is dominated by continuous flow of information. And in order to be successful, it is vital that business stays abreast. The business stays abreast um, with all the latest information about the various aspects of its production. So we know technology keeps on changing, and as the technology changes, also the human or the customer's demands also changes. So as a business person, you must stay ahead with the current changing technology. So the market trends of the supply uh, and demand for a particular product can be best understood if the information is properly and timely disseminated through many levels of the business. So if we disseminate the information in a proper manner through the various levels of the business, then it becomes a key in the success of the supply chain. So information is crucial in a knowledge-based world economy, and ignorance about any aspect of business may actually spell a doom for the prospect of that particular business. Then the third component is about the source. Remember that in a supply chain, there's always the material that is required for the processing of the final product and the way the final product leaves the factory until it reaches the final consumer. So the source is very key that suppliers here, they play a very crucial role in the supply chain management systems. So product and services sold to the end user are created with the help of different sets of raw materials. So it is therefore very necessary that suitable quality raw materials are procured at a cost-effective rate. So if a supplier is unable to supply on time and within the stipulated budget, then the business is bound to suffer losses and gain a negative reputation. And this is why where we do talk about the GIT, that is the just-in-time concept. Um, to mean that bring it when it is needed, not too early, not too late. And we know the reason why it is not required too early. When it is brought too early, we know that it may force the organization or the business to acquire an extra uh, space, and that is an expense. Now, if you again bring it too late, it means that the business will be serving a client who has already found an alternative. So we need to bring it when the need is there. So it is crucial that a company procures good quality resources so it can create good quality products and maintain its reputation in the market. So this necessitates a strong role for the suppliers in the supply chain management system. So source is key as it not just a source, as a source that um, can be relied upon. That is, if you are a supplier, you must be a reliable supplier, not a supplier who supplies when he feels like or when he feels that his conditions are favorable. But you need to supply when it is needed, not when you want to supply. Then the fourth component is inventory. Now, for a highly supply chain management system, it is essential that inventory is kept and thoroughly maintained. Now, maybe you may ask yourself what inventory means. Um, Inventory simply means the ready list of items, that is the raw materials and other essentials required for the product or a service. So that what can call in the terms also is a stock. The ready list of the items or raw materials and any other essential um, requirement um, that is needed for that product or the service to be transferred or to be moved to the next stage before the inventory. So this list has to be regularly updated to demarcate available stock and required stock. Remember that inventory keeps on moving, and this is where we get the stock in and stock out. And you need to keep on updating the record as to what was brought in and what was taken out so that you keep on balancing your inventory books or records. So inventory management is critical to the function of supply chain management because without proper inventory management, the production as well as the sale of the product is not possible. So business have now started to pay more attention to this component simply because of its impact on the supply chain. So the reason why inventory management of inventory is key is that if you don't keep on adjusting your records, then it means that maybe the stock is almost or the raw materials is almost finished, and you haven't realized that you're running out of raw material stock. So you only come to your attention, it only comes to your attention when maybe you are using the last one, and that may be bring a stoppage in the production which is not required. So if you keep updating it, you know this is we need to restock this particular material, or you need to restock this particular product, and the flow of the product remains constant. Now the other component is production. Um, Production is one among the most important aspects of the system, and it is only possible when all other components of the supply chain are in tandem. That is with each other. Um, for the process of production to start, it is very, very essential that proper planning and supply of goods, as well as the inventory, are well maintained. So the production of goods is followed by uh, testing if they meet the quality standard, proper packaging as per the requirement internationally, or as per the buyer's prescription, and also the final preparation for delivery to of the finished product. Then the other component is location. Now, any business that wants to thrive as well as flourish needs a location which is profitable for the business. So a proper location will always be key for any type of business, because if you choose your location wrongly, it means that you may fail to serve the clients who needs your product, even though you may be having good product or you're offering a good service, but your location is poorly located, or where you are is not accessible. So it brings problem and makes your clients not to access you as per the way they could have if you are in a right location. So um, also, depending on the raw materials that you're using for the production of your product, you need to be to situate your production farm close to the source of that raw materials. With that, it will be also saving you on the cost of the transportation of those raw materials. So they'll be traveling shorter distance rather than ferrying them long distance. And that's why you see that most companies or most factories are normally situated closer to the source of the raw materials. Why they're doing so is simple, because they want to cut down the cost of transportation, which is another expense. And if the cost of production is high, the ultimate cost of the product that is being manufactured is going to be high, so that to make whoever produces it make profit too. Uh, then the other component is transportation. Now, it's also vital in terms of carrying raw materials to the manufacturing unit and delivering them to the final consumer. So at this stage, timely transportation of goods is mandatory to sustain a smooth business process. So any business which pays attention um, to this component and takes good care of it will benefit from the production and the transportation of these goods on time. So it is essential that a company works towards a safe and secure transportation process, be it in-house or the third-party vendor. The transportation management system must ensure zero damage and minimal loss in transit. So a well-managed logistics system, along with the flawless invoicing, are the two pillars of secure transportation. Then we also have another component, and which is called the return of goods. Now, among the various components that create a strong supply chain is the facility for the return of faulty or the malfunctioning goods, along with a highly responsive consumer grievance redress unit. In any business, a good business should have a system that allows um, a customer to return goods that do not meet his specification. If you, for example, you supply something to your client and the client finds that whatever you gave out or whatever you supply to him or her do not meet the quality test for what he ordered, then you must have a system that receives such goods back. So no one is infallible. It means that um, anybody can find himself on the wrong side. So even a machine may malfunction once in a million times, if not more. So as a part of the strong business process, one may expect the return of goods under various circumstances. So even the best quality control processes may have unavoidable momentary lapses. So this can happen. And whenever it happens, if you want to maintain good customer relation, if your client complains about whatever you offer to him, then you need to accept it back and offer a better one. So in case of such lapses, um, and inevitably followed by consumer complaints, business must instinctively recall the product and issue an apology. That is very, very important. So this is not only creates a good customer bonding, but also helps maintain the goodwill in the long run. Um, Now, the eight components which we have just looked at are interdependent and ensure a smooth supply chain management system. So it ensures the success and the reputation of a business. So a business must focus on all these components in order to create a flawless supply chain. So businesses that have a strong supply chain management system in place always put greater emphasis on all the components which we have highlighted. So, and also they ensure that management as well as the team at various levels play the by the rules. So they follow what the rules need. So profit is the bottom line, and make sure that the business achieve it. So it is essential that the supply chain does not have many gaps, so any snag should be dealt with immediately, and the weak links need to be repaired or removed if possible. So demand and supply are two of the most important aspects of a business. So for any business to be successful, trends with respect to demand and supply need to be studied carefully while implementing an effective plan of execution. So a supply chain management system is required not just for the timely manufacture of goods, it is also a very critical system for ensuring that the consumer requirements are met effectively. So functions of supply chain management. Um, Now, supply chain management involves five main functions. That is, one is aligning flows. Two, integrating functions, that is bringing different functions together, coordinating the processes, designing complex systems, and lastly, how to manage the resources. So how do we align the flows? Now, as money, materials, and information are passed between customers and suppliers, the supply chain management keeps them flowing up and down the supply chain. So we say that money, materials, and information, they are normally passed between customers and the suppliers. Um, Now, the supply chain management keeps that flow up and down the supply chain. Money changes hands from one party to another. Materials also moves from one point to another. And also the information from the clients are important for the company to improve on the product quality uh, um, or quantity, whatever they need. Then integrating the function, supply chain management connects the activities of the logistics, purchasing, and operations to ensure that they focus on goals that will benefit the overall performance of the institution. Then the coordination, the supply chain management increases profitability by aligning the processes used to plan, to source, make, deliver, and when necessary, returns the company product and services. Then designing complex systems. Simulation tools can predict how a supply chain will behave and show how small changes can cause major disruptions in the flow of materials. Then managing the resources. Supply chain managers are responsible for using people, the processes, and technology to meet the needs of their clients. Then we have the customer supplier relationship. Now, customer supplier relationship is the business relation between the customers and suppliers in terms of product quality, in terms of the product quality, services, complaints handling, deliveries, etc. So customers and suppliers are the vital cogs in the business. So both have the same goal to satisfy the end consumers. Hence, having a healthy customer-supplier relationship is imperative for any business. So if you can look at it from the supplier's end, the relationship is based on the following factors. So if we stand on the side of the supplier, then you find that the relationship between the two is based on these factors. One, sensitivity to customers' needs. As a supplier, you must be very sensitive to what your client needs so that whatever you offer to him meets exactly what he or she wants. Satisfaction. This is key, that for a return purchase or for a return business relation, the client must be satisfied with whatever you offered him. Without that, then they turn their attention to the next supplier, because remember, you're not the only client who monopolize the market. There are also others who are also offering the same service. So if you don't satisfy the customer, you will always look for alternative, which they will never run out of. So there are always the clients or the customers always have an option. Whenever they're coming to you, don't think that you're their last hope. No, they always have other alternatives. So if you don't meet exactly what they need from you, then the thing is that they will turn their attention to another client who will listen to them. Then innovation. Customers always look for what is new. They'll always ask you, what is new? Okay. Yeah, is there anything new? Or the same things you had before? Yeah, okay, let us know. So they always want you to be creative enough. They want you to keep on bringing them for them things they've never seen. So when you are such kind of a business person, or who always is innovative in the way you offer your services, then automatically your clients will always feel happy doing business with you. Then finance is another thing. With the suppliers, remember, in most institutions, they don't pay the suppliers on delivery. It always takes some time before you get paid. So it means that for you to be a good supplier, you must have some financial muscle, so that even if your money is still held by the customer, your business is not brought to standstill. It still operates, because there are some institutions they can even stay with your money for even 6 months. So tell me, if 6 months you're waiting for that client to pay you, will your business be at standstill? No, it should be running. So you must have a very strong financial background. Then from the customer's end, if we turn the tables on the customer's end, the relationship is based on the following factors. One, timely payment. As a customer, not to make the supplier suffer, you need to pay them in time. Then personalization of the relationship. The customer needs to make a very good relationship with the supplier, so that even if you don't have money, the supplier can still give you the product on that. Then you pay later. Flexibility. As a customer, you need to be very much flexible. If maybe the supplier do not have what you need, then you must be ready to take what he has, or you look for another alternative. Then share information. Customers are required always to share the information about their product with other people, so that the chain is enlarged, or this information reaches a large number of people. So customer supplier relationship is of great importance in quality management across the organization, and should be maintained at all levels of the supply chain. So it should ideally be a win-win situation for both parties, in order to make it a long-term and a stress-free uh, alliance. So customer relationship with a supplier. So as we say that for a positive growth of a business, all customers have to depend directly or indirectly on goods and reliable suppliers. So apart from their expectations from the supplier, the customers also need to be loyal to them, so as to strengthen their relationship. You need to be a loyal customer. You don't need to be a customer who keep on hopping from one to another. That one helping you will be very difficult. So therefore, customers should work on building a strong and a long-lasting supplier relationship, as they do with their own customers. So, and it is not a complicated process. So the positive customer supplier relationship begins with the initiative of the supplier to demonstrate his sensitivity to the customer's needs. So it first starts when the supplier himself is showing that he's really sensitive to your needs. That is, whatever you require from him or her, he abides by that. So a customer always vouches for the condition of his business deal with the supplier, and likes to be honest with them to have a smooth flow of the business. So, but many non-serious suppliers sabotage the deal in the beginning only by making the customer struggle, even getting a relationship started. So some suppliers are also not reliable. So even you break the relationship even before it starts. So somebody connects you with a client, but you disappoint him on the first day. So it means that nothing is going to go ahead from there. So the lapses and diversions of the part of the suppliers can affect their relationship in many ways, as highlighted. One, satisfaction. The customers expect overall attention and convenience in all departments to ensure smooth fulfillment of his needs. So this includes the quality, timeliness, which means you offer them at the right time, ease of access and commitment of the conditions. And he wants to believe that the suppliers cares for him. So they're like young kids, these customers, so they need that care, and you must show them that you care for them. Then the competitiveness, that customers assess the supplier through a competition based on the pricing and the quality of their product, its reliability, its technological background, and the industry trends. So these factors affect the deal. So how competitive are you? And what are the customers going to look into, so that to consider you a competitive supplier? One is the quality of the product that you offer to them. Two, how reliable are you? Are you somebody who can be depended upon? Then thirdly, is the technological background. How technologically advanced is you? And the industry trends. Do you have the latest products? Do you have the latest things in the market? That is, this is what clients normally are looking for. They start to look for these things. So these factors affect the deal. Then innovation, as I talked about, that it is difficult for the suppliers to divert their customers from their quality assessment. So customers knows and leaves the leaves their product more than the supplier does. So you know that you as a supplier, you are just like a chain. You move this product. You may not know much about it, but remember, the customer who is going to buy it from you is going to live with this product. And since he lives with the product, he will know it better than you know it as a the supplier. Because for you, your role is just to connect the chain. But at a point, it's going to reach a point whereby the end user is going to become the custodian of this particular product. So he's going to live with it longer than you as a supplier do. So and in the end, if we now assess how viable the product is, whoever tells the truth is not you, the supplier, but now the customer. So he knows and lives that product more than the supplier do. So as he's working on them and is in a position to suggest innovation and development for the product. So if whatever they tell you, take it as right. Um, On the finance, suppliers have to be ready for providing finances, financial advantages as loans, extended terms of purchase, and postponement of the debt when demanded by loyal customers, particularly at their growth stage and when they are not into financial crisis. So, on the other hand, suppliers have also have a right to get their needs met as they are ultimately motivated by the profit. So, they want to be known as the best in their deals, so they count on the customer loyalty and also the satisfaction at all levels, which translate into direct benefit of both of them. So therefore, it is a win-win situation between the two in all stages of the customer supplier chain uh, to produce a total satisfaction. So it should be remembered that a customer assume his name only in relation to his supplier. So as such, in order to be valued customer to suppliers, some of the things which you need to know are the things which we talked about there. Uh, Pay them on time. Um, you need to always negotiate for the favorable payment terms before the deal is initiated. So, but once the order is placed, the commitment should be honored. So any problem arising in this regard should be properly dealt with to maintain the goodwill and benefit to earn. Then provide adequate flexibility. The customer should try to give suppliers as much flexibility as possible for them unless there is a compelling reason. Personalize the relationship, the customer, they need to always be in contact with the supplier and visit them uh, him frequently, not necessarily only when he's needed. He also be invited to attend and give suggestions in some of their strategy meetings. Methods of improving business may also be discussed. Sharing of knowledge, opportunities, service benefits, software compatibility. So you need to involve them. That relationship should be there. If they're doing something, they can invite their clients so that the clients can also give their suggestions on what they need. Share the information. uh, Give the community by suppliers aware of what is going on with the organizations. They may share the key strategic information with them. Frequent and open communications are important. So, and also be demanding, but a valued customer. By demanding a customer can be just be fair. The customer should state his demands clearly and tell his supplier to hold his agreement. So at the same time, as a valued customer, you must always cooperate with him to keep his commitment without embarrassment. So sharing knowledge, service benefits, media exposure, opportunities, software compatibilities, efficiencies would add and to enhance the relationship. Then we have the cost price sensitivity of customers. Now, price sensitivities can be defined as the consciousness of the customers to the cost windows or range within which they make dealings. Price sensitivity, very important. And in marketing, when you talk about marketing aspects, price is a very funny aspect to use in a business, because the way you price will dictate how your customers are going to perceive your product or your service. Some, when you charge too cheaply, they will say your product is fake or substandard. If you charge too expensive, again, they'll say it doesn't belong to them, it's for another class. So you must be cautious on how you charge, on how you uh, you put price tags on your product. So all the customers are always cost sensitive and concentrate basically to buy products on cheap rates. However, cost sensitivity of our customers has, substantially depends on conditions of the market. For example, if a product becomes extraordinarily famous and demanding in the market, and every company is tending towards capturing this product, then it becomes necessary to focus on technological aspects rather than focusing on that particular cost. So if they do so, then the cost sensitivity of these customers is least. Similarly, if a product becomes common in a market due to emerging competitors coming up with a similar but more prominent product, then in this competition, the value of the product decreases and the company become really bothered for them. So in this scenario, the customers have the right to become highly sensitive, as they know that they can negotiate with their suppliers to a greater extent. So this is when the customers are called a high cost sensitive customers. So it is also important for the suppliers to understand how cost sensitive to the customers are. So that um, they should focus on some strategies always to keep their customers falling under least price sensitive stage. So for example, if reducing $1 on a towel price will put the towel on sale and everybody rushes to buy it. But reducing $1 on a car will not make any difference and will not attract customers by any means. Hence, the primary challenge for the organization should be making certain uh, that the change in price is perceptible for all the customers. Then price sensitivity strategy for suppliers also depend on the customer's usage of a product. That the way you use a product can also dictate how the supplier charges that particular product. Some suppliers, if they see that their product is in demand, then they increase the prices. But if they see their product is in least demand, they can tend to reduce the prices. So there can also be two strategies of customers as per the buying aspect. Heavy buying users and light buying users. So take, for example, an organization which consists of 30% of heavy buyers and 70% of light buyers. Now, if the organization cut off the price of the product to some extent by only for heavy buyers, then substantial growth in percentage from 30 to 40% is probably possible. And obviously, um, heavy buyers, an obvious 40% of heavy buyers and 60% of light buyers will be more productive for organization rather than 30% heavy buyers and 70% light buyers. So hence knowing about the customer's price sensitivity always helps suppliers to entertain and satisfy them. So if the customer is highly competitive and perceives short-term projects, then it is not worth for the supplier to convince them for high and expensive products. So customers will anyway super change to reduce the cost or cut the related frills uh, as it may not be affordable or out of the budget. for them to purchase. So making fruitful strategies and positive and analyzing cost sensitive is one of the most important challenges that organization could face. So on the other hand, it is desirable to deal with the efficient, efficiently with deal efficiently with them. Uh, so the best practice is to pre-evaluate the customer's needs. So first of all, know what do they need, and make a fair offer to them according to their requirement and their budget. The bargaining power per customers. We know that customers will always not be convinced that the price you tell them that is what that product costs. They will always have some argument with you as to bring it down. So this is what called the bargaining power of these customers. So one of the essential requirements in today's business scenario is realize and evaluate the bargaining power of customers. The word bargaining here does not only mean price negotiation, so it is much differentiated and a broader term. So bargaining can be encompassed throughout the process of a deal. The following, you have some of the areas where customers can bargain. One, the obvious one on the product price, or any package of the product, what they buy. They can bargain to bring the product down, or they can bargain on the packaging. On provision of service, whether it is a pre-deal service or post-deal service, they can also bargain on that. On performance and efficiency, on technical aspect of the process, product and system, on completion of a schedule, and also on production modifications and on quality check. So buyers or customers always bargain or negotiate on the above given aspect. So it always depend on the present requirement of customers on which they basically bargain. So at times the customers could bargain on a price, not on quick delivery of the product, but some other times for fulfilling the company's needs or for bonus and premium. So the customers could also negotiate on a quicker delivery and not the price. So some will just tell you, oh, I need these things within 1 week. Kindly of then the supplier say, no, 1 week is impossible. I can deliver them within 2 weeks. No, please make it then 10 days. That is 1 week, 3 days, so that I don't lose my clients too. So you can bargain on that. Okay. Some can also bargain. You can also just bargain on bringing the price down. That say, no, it is quite expensive for me. I need you to please, can you reduce the price a little? So some of the customers who are new in the competitive business will always want the right product, are timely available and in reliable form, so as to have returns for the investment made by them in their project for which they need this product. So hence, irrespective of the cost and the time to deliver the product, they rather focus on the benefits and the positive features of this product, would rather than accomplishment of those particular products. Then there are customers who totally concentrate on the performance and efficiency of the product they have, both to control and minimize the repeating operating expenses. So this is because they are so dependent on the product performance that even minimal downtime of this product will cost them huge business loss. So they do not usually bargain on initial cost of the product and concentrate more on the operating cost and keep focus on the product performance and the efficiency. So it is important aspect for customers to have an intense bargaining power to sustain and remold their business strategy effectively and remain in the competition. So it's very, very vital for us to do that. So bargaining power of customers also depend on the flexibility of bargaining approach. For example, a customer wants to buy a product only when the supplier will give discount. So some will always want to buy when there's a discount, yeah, there's an offer. Okay, there's some discount which is being given, so they feel like, no, so right time to buy. But the supplier has a fixed price tag for that product and is not ready to provide any sort of discount. So the supplier is always ready for selling the product and only gives discounts in some sort of technical emergencies in the competitive environment. So if the supplier is not ready to provide any discount and is ready to close the deal by exiting, then the customer should understand that the product is actually worth. And if possible, then intelligently it can further negotiate over other factors to keep the deal intact and profitable. Finally, customers can show the best bargaining power if they possess a good image in the market. And this is only possible when they have healthy relations with the suppliers. Customer relationship measurement. How do we measure that the customer relationship? Uh, Customers are the most important part of the business, so there cannot be any business without them. So only satisfied customers will be interested in buying, and they will also refer other customers to buy. So what this means that only a satisfied customer will buy, and they will not only buy, they will buy and come back again to make a purchase, but not just coming back alone. They will always accompany themselves with another person, which means that they become your ambassadors. They will be marketing for you without you paying them anything, simply because your product made them happy. So by measuring customer satisfaction, a supplier can maintain a quality and a long-term relationship with the customers and secure their future business and financial assets. So this measurement is essential for suppliers to understand that their strategies are in right direction. So market research or market survey is a tool that can be implemented to measure the customer relationship. So customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. This tool is capable to furnish accurate information on the following main facets of the customer relationship. That is one, loyalty, satisfaction, customer behavior, response, service, customers compensation, and also the customer needs. So this tool furnishes the above related information, not only with the accuracy, but also with their future aspect, which is a very important asset for the business perspective. So by knowing the future perspectives of a customer, it becomes easy and efficacious for suppliers to build a medium-term or a long-term relationship with those customers. So the aspect of loyalty, satisfaction, customers' behavior, the response service, customers' compensation, the customers' needs, very important. So these futures perspectives of customers are related to the following factors. We have present customers' needs. Now, by analyzing the present customers' needs, uh, the supplier can determine the trend of buying of customers. So how the present needs of customers can change in the past and can also predict by this sophisticated research and analytical tools by driving some important trends variable of these customers. So suppliers influence on the product and service. How the suppliers are influencing the customers by their products and services is also an important factor in the research. Then the competitors' influence on the product or the service. Competitors are also very important factors in analyzing the future needs of customers. So if the competitors are making more prominent impression of product and service, then it is important for the suppliers to mold their business strategies to meet the future needs of the customers and to attract them to have that business with them. Then we have the environmental or market effects that predicting the current market trend, suppliers can analyze how the market is going to perform in the coming future. So this research includes deep analysis of the financial, and the economical conditions. So market research is a strong tool that renders the customers with important and unique data on customers' needs, which helps them to create business strategies and come up with considerable business decisions. So it helps the organization to encapsulate future business by determining business goals and objectives to meet the customers. It also helps in providing feedback. So you can get feedback. It helps the organization to encapsulate the future business. And also, um, it feedback regarding image and the performance of the big organization so that they could leverage the strategies to meet the customers, to meet the targets. So it helps them to be always on the top. So building a relationship with the customers in the current market trend is the most important aspect of an organization should focus on. So that is very, very key. So till next time, we hang it there. We start on the market research and what we term as the CRM. So that is important for us on that. So we'll start on that page in our next class. Until next time, have a nice day.